And awesome. Hey, how you doing? This is Dr. Paul Dyer. I'm visiting with a friend of mine, and you want to introduce yourself because they heard our podcast. Hopefully, they heard our podcast. But introduce yourself to the rest of the world, and we're going to be keep doing more of these. So, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Um, Dr. Janine Ambrose, live in Waterloo, Iowa. Was a farm girl. I have 6 children. My greatest teachers. Oh,
Was your children your greatest teachers?
my children, yes, definitely.
I have just recently written something about our education and how our education has failed our children. I think it failed us, but I think it took away so much of our emotional intelligence away from schools. I think it
Mhm.
took away our understanding to feel who we are and to understand what we are. And
Uh,
because you do
they
that,
need to be taught through the senses, the 5 senses. They need to be active and mobile and touching, and the whole idea of sitting and having to sit and focus. I know that's very difficult for me, because my brain works. I can make 5, 6 thoughts at once that I have to focus on. So I totally understand children, and I tried to do that with my children. We would use making up stories and to educate them instead of the sitting reading a book, which is good too. But and I did that, but we actually wrote our own book.
right? Your son helped you write your book, right?
Yes, yes. He was what they would have proclaimed ADD when he was young.
I,
And I say that's genius. These children are off the chart. And so I couldn't get him to take a nap. So we lay down and I started making up stories where he was the hero to empower him and to know that he had power. And then through the years, I story told it. And then inevitably, I researched Ireland because that's where my heritage is from. And I made it.
oh, you're an Irish girl.
Yeah. And so I put my mom and my dad in it, and it became Zubak in the Secret Mountain. It was about magical flowers and
Okay.
how to heal people. So it was neat, very
So,
fun.
what? How did did the stories help your child learn, or was it just for them to associate?
I would say both because of the vocabulary that we used. My
Mm,
children have extremely um, advanced vocabulary because I always talk to them that way. And just the creative essence, I think we're lacking that with our children today, empowering them through creativity because that connects us with the divine, if you want to say. When we are writers or artists or musicians, we we expand and we become connected. And without the arts, we don't have that connection unless we meditate.
and I just did something this morning. I did a little live podcast myself, and it was about meditation and connecting the two hemispheres, the left
Mhm.
right brain hemisphere. And with our stress, we know that some people are very left brain and oriented, or very right brain oriented, like I think I am. And I had to work on being on the other side, more analytical and more critical and things like that. Um, but meditation helps you connect the hemispheres from one side to the other because that makes us whole. I think if we're so strong on one side and so strong on the other side, we become unbalanced. And I know you work with vibrations, and tell us how you do that with your music. And
Well, yeah, basically that's what my CDs. Well, the one CD is actually that balancing. It balances the chakras and the left and right brain, and just expands the energy field. The other CD is actually a healing CD, and I would like to do a series of these. It would just be phenomenal because in the future it's going to be vibrational healing. But with my other CD, it heals the sinus cavities, and I've actually had a woman that was a emergency room doctor's wife heal her CDs and not need surgery from listening to the music. So it's so powerful, and people need to know that there are other options out there. Not to say we don't need doctors, but there are options for healing. And I also do alternative therapies. I do regression therapy, I do energy healing, quantum energy. For some reason, since I've been young, I could see in the body.
Yeah,
So
that's a beautiful thing.
yeah, and when I went to the chiropractor and I saw this big thing on the wall that had all the lines and the meridians and stuff, and I go, oh my gosh, I said, somebody drew this. This is what I see when I'm working on people. And he goes, yeah, those, and we, discussed it. So it was really fun.
So can people get in touch with you by they contact you through like a website? I mean,
I'm working on a website. I have an email, and I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm under Dr. Ambrose, and I actually have 3 Facebooks. And then my political ones, anyway. Then I have the LinkedIn too. So, and I'm working on the website right now, and I have like 120 TV shows that I'm going to launch on there over the years that I've interviewed mystics and eco-friendly architects and card readers and all kinds of neat stuff.
I really think, and that's why I like doing these things with my friends and people I've known. We need to pull our energy sources together because as we understand now, we're in turmoil. And I think more people are feeling very angry about a lot of things, and it's not so much the small things, but I think if we understand our own emotions, I think, like I said, I think we got away from understanding our emotional intelligence. I kind of think if I had to start the school system all over again, I would take the English language, the reading and writing, and then I would add in emotional intelligence communication. How do you feel?
Absolutely.
Understand your feelings and where they lie, and where it's directed to, and where it goes from there. And then I think by the age of 7th grade, then we can add the math and the sciences and the social sciences. But until we understand communication with one another, and the communications we have with ourselves, is what our environment is teaching us, what our emotions are teaching us, and what our experience is trying to teach us. Because we add all those things into how we relate to each other, and a lot of it is completely wrong. Because somebody says that, I thought I knew you, and you're like, well, why would you get to know me? Because they're trying to regress from an experience they had before, whether it be bad or good. They're bringing that forward, and it's creating an assumption or perceptions that's been blown out, and to live on that is a bad idea.
Compassion. I know my son just graduated from high school, but he was in the IB program at West High, and it's called the International Baccalaureate.
Okay.
And yeah, International Baccalaureate. It came from Asia, and now it's infiltrating the United States. But they take the top 50 kids in the junior class, and then they have their own special teachers, which is too bad because what they're learning is how to be compassionate and understanding and not judgmental, and how to communicate with people that are different. And I just thought, man, it shouldn't be these just these children learning this. It should be all of them, So yeah, that's a great program.
What's some of the roadblocks you run into when people don't understand vibrational healing?
It's interesting. I've had some older men come that have some health problems that I've worked on, and I always sit down and I explain energy to them, and I take oils and I have them rub their hands together, and then I have them feel the energy coming from my hands, and then they feel the energy. I make them go like this and feel the energy so that they can comprehend that we're made up of energy first.
Right.
And then once I do that, I've had people, when they get done, they go, I don't know what just happened to me, but I just feel, I feel so light. And they go, you're balanced. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. And then they give me a big hug, and that's worth everything. Is that we, help each other.
Do you think, if I don't want to separate it, but who's having the most difficult transitioning into this new paradigm shift? Is it men or is it women?
I would say men, definitely.
Why is that? I agree. I do agree.
I think it goes back to the way they were raised, to not feel, to be tough, to be strong. I remember when my daughter was born, she fell and hit her knee, and my husband at the time said, oh, get up, it's okay, you're fine. And I go, no, she hurt her knee, we need to love her. We need to acknowledge that pain and let her experience it, you know? So I think it's because of how they've been raised that has a lot to it, and they eat too much meat.
I think we got to cut out meat. Hey, first of all, the hormones that's in our meat, we're eating cysts. I don't eat much meat, if any at all anymore.
Yeah.
I just,
It
first
makes
of
you aggressive.
all, say it again?
It makes you aggressive,
It
meat.
does. It just does.
Yeah,
So,
it does.
speaking of food, we know, tell us about food and chakras, because different foods relate to different chakras, and no one's ever heard of that before until you start talking to them. And when I talk to them in session, I'm like, you can eat according to your liver, your kidney, your spleen, and your stomach. So talk about that, because foods have vibration.
Well, in the color, we go back to minerals have vibrations. They're in the ground. When we grow foods, the minerals go in the plants and make the color of the food.
Right.
So we have purple foods. We have all different colors, and then our chakras each are a different color. So the red foods resonate to the red chakra, which is the low chakra, and yellow energy on up. And then when you get to a point where you're just eating like vegetables and things that are really high vibrational, we're working more out of the crown chakra. So meat brings us down, takes a lot of energy to digest. And so when you meet a vegetarian, they usually kind of have a light about them. They are light, they're usually pretty happy and docile. And so, yeah, I'd be interested. You know more about the liver and things, so how does that resonate? I know the lemon cleans the blood and liver.
Correct. Well, we know that okay, so we do know emotions have a memory and they're held in different organs of the body. Okay. So let's go straight with the liver. And sometimes we've heard of the liver detox with the lemon and honey and things like that. And a lot more people not doing the apple cider vinegar, and that's really to clean out our intestine walls because it becomes very slick, so we don't absorb the sugars that we're eating. So then we have that diabetes, which is a whole other issue, right?
Right.
But
right.
But our emotional contents in our body has an organ placement. It's so easy to say our heart has deep feelings of love and excitement, but our liver has um, depression, anger. That's why alcohol, when a person drinks too much or has an alcoholic issue, it starts to hurt the liver. They become very angry, and so cleaning out those emotional ties to the organ helps people release that part of the body, then they can have a different chakra balance and the balance of the body. So it's important. So we can teach more of that, you and I, if when people come and ask us questions.
Oh, absolutely. And I did a conference with a neurologist, and he found that emotional trauma, when people go through a major emotional trauma, it creates a lesion in the brain. And the lesion goes down in the body and settles in the body in an organ or whatever. And I know that to be true because my cousin lost a son, a Navy SEAL, when he was 22, and it was devastating for all of us. Anyway, I tried to get to her because I wanted to work on her, and I couldn't. She wasn't open to me. And within 6 months, she had cancer on a kidney.
Oh, wow.
So that's how fast that manifested that trauma in her body. And that's why alternative therapies work, is because if we can go in and we can either change the memory in their mind, work with that trauma.
The cellular biology of the body.
Yeah, it cleans out, it heals. So.
All right, this is awesome. We're going to do more of this. You guys could, those people who are watching this, they can contact us. Either they can contact us through the channel that I'm going to post this on, or they can call you directly at your phone number. What's your phone number?
It's 319-961-9796.
Or you can contact me at dakotadragondefense@gmail.com, Dr. Paul Dyer. We love talking with you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Ron.
So